Hello everyone, Trophy Winehunter. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm really excited to bring you a review of a wine I've always wanted to try. This is the Cantina Terlano 2021 Terlaner Cuvee. These are the wines that really excite me because they're not expensive, but they're really unique and very kind of difficult to get, but not because of price, just because of sometimes allocation. So it's the winery's name is either Kellerei Terlano or Cantina Terlano, and so it is in the Alto Adige region of Italy, and that's very much northern part. So it's basically a very steep, hilly region. It's supposed to be beautiful. I've never been there, but what it does is it allows for the production of both red wines and white wines, but in particular white wines that are very long lived. So Terlaner is fortunate. It has vineyards that have a wide range of altitude, so it's from 250 meters to 900 meters, and that allows them to grow different types of grapes, both red and white wine grapes. For the lower altitude regions, they actually grow apples. And then between, I guess, 250 and 400 meters, they grow kind of a red and white wines. But over 400 meters, that's really for white wines. And what happens here is that the terroir is mostly volcanic soils, and it's got a very kind of special microclimate with, I guess, some winds coming through, and also the volcanic soil is kind of mixed in with crystal. And basically the Terlaner grapes have been able to, or the vines have been able to adapt to this unique condition. And for some reason, this creates very long-lived white wines. It's believed that it's because of the high mineral content in the soils, maybe some of the crystals, the old vines, and also the management of the system. Because it's steep hills, it's got to be hand-picked, and there's very low yield. And basically only mature grapes are picked. Let's talk a little bit about the winery. So Terlano was founded in 1893, and it's a cooperative. So it's a wine growing cooperative that has about 143 members, and in total has about 190 hectares. And they produce about 1.5 million bottles a year. This wine is a blended wine. They have other wines. They have reserve wines, and they have wines that are kind of longer aged wines. But this wine in total is about 10 to 15,000 cases a year, which is really not that much for what is kind of a value wine. It's only a $50 wine. But very little of it is exported. I think about 1,000 cases of this wine was exported. Terlano wines are made to be aged, and they take it very slowly. And they're very proud of their wines being able to age for a long time period. And what you get is a very unique, distinct wine that you don't see very many places in the world. And that's why if you get a chance to drink this wine, please try it. It will change your notion of white wines, and in this wine, in particular, Pinot Blanc. For some of their reserve wines, they leave the wines on yeast or lees for many years before bottling, and they use a slow fermentation system. So that slow maturation system, they believe, develops specific character and complexity. And they really focus really on secondary and tertiary aromas and not so much on primary. So they're not really worried about fruit forward. They're worried about, or they're concerned about making a distinct wine, which they do. They have many different wines that are just single grape varietals, but this one is, to me, one of their most exciting wines. This is their Cuvee Terlaner. So I guess it's a blend. And the blend in this vintage was 60% Pinot Blanc or Pinot Bianco, 30% Chardonnay, and 10% Sauvignon Blanc. And again, it's a slow fermentation in stainless steel tanks, and then they put it on lees for 6 to 7 months, and that's in stainless steel tanks and about 20% in wooden barrels. So it's a very, very unique tasting wine. And so for me, normally when I drink Pinot Blanc, which I like very much, it's kind of very easy drinking, medium bodied, a little bit of nuttiness or almond, but I find it to be a very relaxing wine that you can just be a summer sipper. This wine is not that, and so it's a very, very unique wine, and that's why I'm so excited to drink it. I'm sorry I threw away the cork, but here is the bottle. It's either called Kellerei Terlan or Cantina Terlan, and it is the Cuvee Terlaner from the Alto Adige DOC 2021. Again, the blend here is a blend of Pinot Bianco, Chardonnay, and Sauvignon Blanc. And it is 14% alcohol. Here is the color of the wine. Again, very young wine, so it's almost like translucent, kind of a little bit of yellow tinge, but not much. Again, it's under direct light, so it looks a little bit whiter than you would normally see. It is always got a yellow tinge to it. So let's drink the wine. I will let you know that I already had it at dinner with hot pot, with some oysters, with some shrimp, with some meat. And I actually think it pairs very well. It is a heavier style wine, so I think it actually pairs very well with the food. It's not really a sipping wine. I put it back in the fridge and now I've taken it out for about 30 minutes. But you should treat it like almost like a heavy Chardonnay. And again, it's very weird to say that with a blend that's mostly Pinot Blanc or Pinot Bianco, because again, Pinot Blanc, I guess it's medium bodied, but I've never felt of it as a heavy wine or a very intense wine. So let's smell the wine first. So on the smell, you get a lot of citrusy notes, a little bit of tanginess, apricots, but it's kind of dialed down. And then, yeah, mostly very floral too, and very aromatic. I would say almost a little bit of tropical fruits in terms of the aromas, lime. Yeah, a lot of lime aromas. So what hits you right away is the intensity of flavor. I would say it's the intensity is quite high in terms of the flavors. It's medium to medium plus in terms of the body. The acidity is good, but it's kept in check with the body that's so intense. In terms of flavors, there's a lot of lime, citrus, grapefruit. And it's interesting because generally these are not flavors that I enjoy, but in this situation where the body is quite heavy and the alcohol content, which is 14%, is higher, it kind of is okay. It's kind of in check. On the aftertaste, you get almost a flintiness or mineraliness and a saltiness. Almost like a saline type, marine type taste. So it's quite a distinctive a salty taste. I know that that might not be a great descriptor for wines, thinking a wine is salty, but it really is a little bit like, yeah, salty, and almost like ocean type salt. So it really is quite delicious, particularly if you're pairing it with seafood such as oysters or clams, things that come from the sea. I think it matches really well. So as you continue to taste this, it gets heavier and heavier. The intensity is quite high. And so again, this is not really a sipping wine. This is really needs food. It needs seafood, fish, oysters, clams, mussels. Spectacular. I love the weight of it, and I love the salinity, and I love the minerally, almost like a flintiness to it, a steeliness to it. It's a really interesting wine, and I think, again, if you have drank a lot of Pinot Blanc or Pinot Grigio, and you kind of find it a little bit not very intense in flavor or a little light in flavor, then you have this wine, you'll be like, wow, this is crazy. And so it's really a unique wine, and I hope that people will have a chance to try it. It's not that easy to find, but and it's not that expensive. That's the other thing. But it's, I think, just such a unique wine. Wine Spectator rated this 92 points. I agree with them. This is a great wine. Probably, it's very distinctive. It's not an everyday wine for me, but it does need food for me. And again, it packs a punch. I have no doubt that this wine will go 10, 15 years easily. And in fact, I think I'm going to kind of try to go and buy older Terlaner wines to see how they age. I wouldn't say it's totally hedonistic. It's not one of these wines I say, wow, I love the wine. It's really up my alley. It's one of these such a unique experience wines that it's, for me as a wine drinker, I really appreciate it. It's one of these wines that I always want to drink, and I would always, if I can see it on a wine menu, I'd love to see it. Because, you can always have great wines. There's always these wines that are good, but sometimes you want something unique. And this is definitely a unique wine in a good way. I hope you've enjoyed this review. Until next time, happy drinking.